welcome back to the channel for another video for you guys. Today I'm going to do the ins and outs of the players on the Premier League so far. I'm sorry if I butcher some of these names because my pronunciations are not the best. Please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, it helps me out a lot, and write in the comments and I'll get back to your comments. So let's get into the video. Right, here we go. So we'll start with Arsenal. So players they've already got who's already come in is Zubamendi, Norgard and Azabalaga. And their outgoings is Tavares, Marquinhos, Tierney, Jorginho and Timiasu. See what I mean? Right, players they are linked with is Gorkares, which I think they'll get over the line. It won't be long now, I think, till that deal gets done. They are looking at Eze and rumours with Rodrigo as well. So we'll see if that happens. So far their transfer window has been pretty good, especially if they get the striker. They've been crying out for a striker, so good so far for Arsenal, I think. So Aston Villa, they've not done too much at the moment. We know that they couldn't spend too much money because of FFP. So far incomings is Ozcan and Redmond, and they've sold or loaned out they've sold Hayden, Philip Coutinho. Can't believe I forgot he was even still there. Feels like he's been there for about 7 years now and hasn't played for about 5 of them. But yeah, he's gone to Vasco da Gama, and Olsen's gone, and House is gone as well. So not sure about incomes really at Villa. There's not really been too much said. I know Jacob Ramsey has been linked with Forest, Tottenham, so we'll see if he ends up going. And Watkins, there's been some signs that Watkins could go, but we'll have to see about that. So Bournemouth have got Trafford and Krupi in so far, and they've sold Hulson, Melius Kirkers, Jaden Anthony and Joe Rothwell. So they've got I'm surprised. I'll be surprised if they don't spend much more. They got about 100 million in for them players. They've only spent just over 15, probably about 20 million. So expect them to do some more business. Semenyo signed a new contract, so that's good for them. So I still think they'll have a good year if they get a few players in. So I don't think they've anything to worry about them this year. I think they'll still make some signings. So Brentford. So the players which have come in is Malambo, Kaidi, Donovan and Keller from Liverpool, good goalkeeper. And outgoings are Norgard, Flecken and Ben Mee got released. So we expect Embremo to go, probably go to, well, looks like he's going to be going to Man U whenever that gets sorted. It feels like that's been dragging on for about 2.5 years now. Sorry. So we'll see when that gets done. And also it looks like Wissa could go as well. He's only got a year left on his contract, so he might go if they get a good fee for him. I know they wanted 50 million for him. I think it's too much for just only having a year left, but I understand it. They've lost some big players, so they need to make some signings. If not, I think they may struggle this year, especially with having a new manager coming as well. So yeah, it could be a difficult season for Brentford, but we'll see. So Brighton. So this is where my butchering of names is going to come in. So they've signed Costellos, De Cooper, Coppola, Watson and Bascoli. So they've made a few good signings. I've not heard of these players, but I've only heard of Costellos. But the thing with Brighton, they're very good at getting players in on quite cheap and making profit and selling them and making them very good players. So I'm not worried about Sunderland, about Brighton. So, and then outgoings is Joel Pedro for 60 million. Adringa went to Sunderland. Barco went to Strasbourg, and Odi Ofia. So yeah, Brighton are still, they'll have a good season. They've got some good players come in. I believe they'll be good players because Brighton's recruitment is top notch. He's probably one of the best in the Premier League. So yeah, I think they'll have another good season. So good players. Not sure. I know that there's rumours that Tottenham are interested in an unknown player from Brighton. So will they keep hold of Matoma and Baliba? We'll have to wait and see. But I still think they'll have a good season. Yeah, I'm not worried about them at all. So Burnley have brought in Kyle Walker, Chonana, Humphreys, Anthony and Edwards. Cole Walker, great signing for them. So yeah, I think they've done some good business coming back up from the Championship. They could do well. And outgoings if Egan, Riley, Redmond and Shelby were released. Not heard what transfer news is going on with them at the moment. Not really heard too much, but they've done some good business, especially getting Cole Walker. I think it's a really good signing for them with his experience, and he's a good player. So he might be a bit older now, but I still think he'll do a good job there. So Chelsea incomings is Joel Pedro, Jamie Gittins, Liam Delap, Willian and Escuru. So spent quite a lot of money, but they've got a lot of money to spend. They won the World Cup, so they got quite a lot. They got about 100 million for that. So yeah, I think good players they've brought in. I think they need a goalkeeper really. If they can get a goalkeeper in, they're going to be a real force this year. There'll be a dark horse as being up there for a title challenge, but we'll see. But I think they need a goalkeeper and probably a centre back as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if they go and get both of them in. They like to spend their money, and they've got money to spend because of winning the World Cup, Club World Cup. Players out is Azabalaga, Humphreys and Bettinelli. So yeah, I expect they have still to do some deals ins and outs at Chelsea. So we'll see what happens there. Now Crystal Palace have signed Berna Sosa and Walter Benitez. So players from the Dutch League, and players out. They've just released Joel Ward and Schlop. Palace, I think they're gonna lose. I think they're gonna lose some players. I think Eze will end up probably going. I think Gui will end up at Liverpool, especially if they sell Konate. Definitely, I think he'll end up there. And there's still rumours about Walton. I think they'll keep Walton. I don't think they'll sell him. I think they'll end up keeping him. And they'll need to get some players in. But they've got a good manager who does well there. So a bit of disappointment there now in the Conference League and not the Europa League. But I still think they've got a good manager. They're hard to beat. They're a good footballing team. I think they'll be alright. They'll lose some big players, but they'll spend the money well, I think. So I wouldn't worry too much about them. So Everton have bought Barry and Alcaraz, who Alcaraz was there last year on loan. The players out is Decore was released, Ashley Young was released, and Mopé was released. Not heard too many rumours. I've heard it was at the start of this transfer window. Maybe Richarlison could end up going back there. I think they'll get a few more players in. They've got their new stadium to go start this season. So they've got to get used to playing there. But I think they'll be right. I think they'll get a few more players in. So we'll see. It doesn't say on here that Calvert-Lewin has been released, but I'm sure he had. I'm sure he was released. So we'll have to. That might not be up to date, that bit. So yeah, I'm sure he was released as well. Fulham outgoings is Vinicius and William both been released. They haven't bought anyone yet at all. Not heard any rumours really at Fulham either. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But they had a good season last year under Marcus Silva. So we'll see how they get on this year. Would it just be a one-off, or will they be able to continue that and improve and be a top half team? So Leeds United, who have come up from the Championship, have bought Bijol, Gudmundsson and I can't even say this one. Bornoroff. See, I would not be great as a football commentator. I definitely wouldn't be able to do that job. And outgoing to Firpo and Snorden. So Leeds have got a few players in. I wouldn't be surprised if Solomon ends up there if Spurs decide to let him go, which I wouldn't be surprised. I think that might happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up back there. Could get a few more players in Leeds. I think they do need to get a little bit more in. They won the Championship, but I'd say out of the three teams who have come up, they've probably done the least work so far. That's just my preference. So yeah, Liverpool, they've got Florent Wirtz, Frimpong, Mamadashvili and Kirkres. They've spent a lot of money. They look strong. They've spent near enough 200 million. They have spent over 200 million. I think they're, for me, they're the favourites to win the league, especially the players that they want to. I believe they want to get a striker. They looked at Isak. I don't think Newcastle want to sell. Etiquette from Frankfurt. It looks like, I think I know Newcastle are interested, but if Liverpool come calling, he'll end up there. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up there. Players out as Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Quansah and Keller. So yeah, Liverpool for me so far have done the best business, and they're not finished there. So I've rumours they're looking at Rodrigo. I heard this morning from Real Madrid. I don't know how. It's just something I saw on X, but we'll have to see if any more rumours come of that. So we'll see. So Man City incomings are Reinders, El Nouri, Cherki, and Bertinelli. So yeah, they spent a bit of money as well. Good players in. I think Cherki will be a good signing for them. They'll have Rodri back this year as well after he's been out for a long time last year. So I expect them to challenge as well. You can never count off Man City anyway. But yeah, I think they're looking strong. I think Liverpool are looking the strongest, but I think Man City and Arsenal are thereabouts with them. So we'll see. Outgoings of Kyle Walker, De Bruyne. I think they'll miss De Bruyne. Jacob Wright and Bama to Stoke on loan. So yeah, they'll. I've not seen any links the last few days, so any links they could be getting in, but I'm sure they will still do a little bit more business. We'll have to wait and see, but yeah, always look out for them to get someone else in. So Man United so far have got Kuna in and Diego Leon. Outgoings they've released Ericsson, Johnny Evans, and Lindelof. I think Man U have got a lot of work to do. And Bremo's still not over the line. Need to get that done. I know they've got some money issues with PSR. They're trying to get Anthony out the door, Garnacho out the door, Rashford out the door. I've seen Garnacho was linked with Tottenham yesterday, so we'll see what happens with that. As a Tottenham fan, not the player I would want in, but I think it's a bit hit or miss really. But we'll see. I'm sure they'll get some deals done. I think they're just waiting to get some players out the door before they get more deals done really. So we'll have to wait and see with them. So Newcastle got Anthony Elanga in and Antonio Cardero on a free. And outgoings they've Lloyd Kelly's gone to Juventus for 20 million and Jamal Lewis. So I expect Newcastle to do some more deals. Elanga's a good sign. He played well last year for Forest. They're after a striker. I wouldn't be surprised. I've not seen any rumours, but if I've just got a sneaky feeling that Ollie Watkins, I reckon Newcastle could go in for him, especially if Etiquette goes up at Liverpool. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for Ollie Watkins. I know Villa have got some PSR issues and I think they need to sell really. So I wouldn't be surprised if if Ollie Watkins could go to Newcastle. I'll watch that one. I've not seen any reports or anything. I just got a funny feeling with that one. Nottingham Forest players in Jesus and Jaya and Cunha, and that's not Jesus from Arsenal. I think it's Jesus. I think his name is. It's from Botafogo. So their players in, all undisclosed. Players out. Anthony Elanga, as we said, he's gone to Newcastle. See, I can't even say his name. Omar Bamidele. He's gone to Strasbourg. And Roman Sosa has gone to Palmeiras for undisclosed. Forest, I'm not going to say too much because I've said it in my last video about Gibbs White. Will he go to Tottenham? Will he stay? So I think he'll probably end up at the door. Not sure anyone else is going from them, but they're interested in players like Ramsey. There's been a few others, I can't really remember, but I know they've been interested in some other players. So Forest will get some players in. They'll still probably sell a few as well. So there'll be some ingoings and outgoings there. Now Sunderland, who come up from the Championship, thought they've bought really well actually. They've really given it a go since they come back up. They've got Habib Diarra, Dringa from Brighton, who I think is a good player. Enzo Lafay from Roma, another good player. Taibi from Club Brugge, I've heard a lot about him as well, that he's a good player. Sadiki, Mandava. So they've spent a good 100 million here. So they've done some business. Players out, Joab Bellingham and Tommy Watson. So I think Sunderland have really pushed out. They could have a good. They could stay up this year. They could avoid the drop. I think out of the three clubs who have come up, I'd say they've done the best business, and they're still after players. So they're really giving it a good go. So fair play to them. Tottenham, I've got Mohamed Kudus in, Matthias Tell, Danzo, Tikari and Vuskovic. And players out is Højbjerg, Fraser Foster was released and Reguilon was released. Spurs are still looking for players. They look like they're going to go big this year. They still won Gibbs White. They won a number 6. It looks like they won a left-sided player as well, and potentially a striker and a left back. So they do want to do some business. So they definitely need to improve from last year, especially from the Premier League. Finishing 17th was not good enough. They'll have a better year, I think, especially with Thomas Frank. Might take some time to start to get into it, but I think they'll have a good year. West Ham have got Taibo and Cummins in. Outs is Kudus, Zuma and Cresswell. So West Ham not done too much so far. We'll have to wait and see. I know they were struck with money as well. That's why they sold Kudus to Spurs, who went there for 55 million. We'll see if they start spending some money. But so far, they look like if they don't do much, they could be one to struggle next season. Wolves have got in Fer Lopez, Strand Larson, who had a good season there. He plays up front for them. He got some goals for them, so they've got him in from Celta Vigo. He was on loan last year. Outgoings as Cunha, El Nori and Sarabia. So I expect them to spend probably some money. They've got just over 100 million in from players, so I expect them to spend some money still, and I think they need to as well. They ended up well in the Premier League last year. The last 10-15 games they started getting it together and doing well. So please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.